All right. Greetings, brothers and sisters. If you saw the momentary live stream a second ago, that was a that was a bit of a mistake. I did not know that I was live. It appears that YouTube has changed how they do their go live now streams. As soon as I started streaming over, instead of having an option to turn on the stream, it just automatically started streaming. So I apologize for that. I wanted to go ahead and get out of there. And so I deleted that video. But real quick, this is just a real informal discussion and opportunity that I wanted to reach out to the community about. And I'm right now trying to build the Mucus-free Life research and development team. And we've been together since around January. I mean, we had versions of the team for the past year, and I would have a group of people and we would start working on some things, but it would never really stay for a long period of time. But we got really serious back in January and February when everything started getting kind of crazy with the shutdowns. I reached out and a bunch of people applied, and then we started off with a small group of people that made it through the application process, and then a few people here and there no longer wanted to participate, and so then we were down to the core group of folks that's in the team. And right now we have some room for a couple more people to join the team. And this is kind of a rare opportunity. Well, I mean, not kind of, but it's a really rare opportunity. But we're at a point now where we're really trying to build the the mucus-free life core team. Like, I need some help. The community needs help. We need folks that have that leadership drive, that research and writing intelligence, the ability to do that. Because a lot of what I do and what we do, it's like the basis of it is always in education. It's always in studying, understanding the world, having the tools. And that's one of the things that I really like sharing in this group, where I show things that I learned in graduate school over the years in terms of what it takes to research and write things. There's some secret projects that we're working on that I can't really reveal publicly, or it would it could complicate what we're trying to do. A little bit later on, we'll announce it when the time is right. But there's some really serious projects that's going to change the world. It's some real world life-changing kind of things that's going down. And but there's a lot of work involved. And so down below in the comment section, if you're interested, I got an application. And if you have the time and you're interested, you should probably have some experience with research and writing in some capacity. We do have information to help teach you how to do certain things. And like I said, on the academic side of my life, I've been involved in academia since 2001. And when I was at the age of 23 was the first time I became a university educator, was a adjunct professor of music at Northern Kentucky University. Then they were going to offer me a full-time lecturer position, and I ultimately decided to go on and work for my PhD, and I ended up getting a second master's degree in African American and African Studies, and I finished my PhD in ethnomusicology 2016, and then I taught all through that. I taught various courses and stuff. The last course I taught was Introduction to Jazz a couple years ago at Ohio State University. But I've published a number of things. I don't usually bring a lot of my academic credentials and all that kind of stuff into the mucus-free world here, where we just focus, because we're mostly talking about Mucusless Diet Healing System in the community and all that kind of stuff. And so I've kind of separated my academic life a little bit from the mucus-free world. But I say all that just to let you know that in these meetings, I'm sharing, all this stuff that people would, spend thousands of dollars to learn when it comes to research skills and writing and editing, proofreading, all that type of stuff. Like I'm doing my best to show everything that I know in those areas, and as a group, we're able to elevate and develop the skills. And so, if you're interested, like I said, we meet every Wednesday for about 2 to 3 hours at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is kind of a specific thing. We won't be able to select everybody that applies. It's a pretty small, it's a small group of people that we can have. But if it's the right fit, if you have the time, it's outside of the meetings, there'll be several hours that you'll have to devote to whatever project that you're assigned, that you're working on outside of the meetings. And, and I'm trying to grow this group as well to really be the start of something that right now I'm thinking of growing or starting a mentorship program. I think that for me, that's going to be a better fit instead of, not that I won't do one-on-one consultations again, but I want to create something new. I want to create a team-based structure. So it's not just, I don't want to just be working one-on-one like I did for years, where I just worked one-on-one with people. I want to start the process of teaching others to do what I do, because I know the way that I do consultations and bringing in Mucusless Diet Healing System and the other naturopathic things that I know and methods and the mindset, I don't know anybody else that does that and the way I do it. And I don't want to be the only one doing it like that. So I want to teach people, and I've trained people and mentored people that have been through Dr. Morris's educational, his courses, and people that have been through Gabriel Cousins' courses, and people that have been through the most popular naturopathic and influential naturopathic courses. I've worked with many of them and been able to contribute to their existing education. Then I've helped other people that had never been exposed to any of those other naturopathic luminaries. And so this video, this isn't even going to be up on the channel that long. I'm probably leave this up maybe a day or two. I'm not going to announce it or or share this video. This is just something because I want the people involved that sign up to be the ones that are really engaged. If you're subscribed to the channel, then I know that you're engaged and you just happen to be here to be able to check out the live stream. Because this just isn't it for everybody. This is a very kind of elite group of people that I'm trying to build, and it will be the core of the mentorship program we're developing. And I often get a lot of people asking me about certificate programs and that kind of thing, and that's why I want to create something different. I don't want to just have a certificate program in the way that a lot of people in the field of naturopathy put together a certificate program. Not that there's wrong with that. I want to do something a little different, and I think I like working. I like working with other people that are working and where we're actually working together, and that has been very fun with this group. And I'll share a little video of, this was something with Q and Reese. So this was, I think this was last week's meeting. There's a couple other people that are involved right now that, but just last week we had Q and Reese were on here, and I can't even show that much of this video because it'll start revealing some of the secret, the secret information that I don't want to reveal yet. But yeah, we get into some interesting things, and so some interesting and fun things, and it's really, I mean, it is fun. Yeah, this meeting, this was last week. This was a 3-hour meeting, and we get into a lot of stuff. It's free flowing, so we deal with the assignments and the things that we learn, but then folks bring different things to the table that they've been working on, and I answer questions, and we ask each other questions, and we work on, give feedback to one another on things. So there's definitely an element of like a mastermind kind of structure, and I don't know, it's special to me. I really appreciate the work that they've been putting in, and I want to grow it with the right people. With the right people, we can really, grow faster and really do some serious work. And so, like I say, if you're interested, click the link down below and fill out the application. And I'd like to hear any research and writing experience that you have, and you can put your schooling down there, that kind of stuff, and if you're willing to get started, because it's it gets intense. You ask Q. He's like, you can ask Q and Reese. We start really getting intense. But I try to bring, after spending so many years in graduate school, I bring that energy. I bring that energy into the team, and that kind of level. There's a certain level, if you've ever been, if you are or have been in graduate school, or what that's about, whether it's master's degrees or PhD or whatever it was, whatever field it was in, that there's an intensity there that you don't, and people that push you, as professors push you, but then also your peers, the other students, and there can be, depending on the type of field you're in, but there's a camaraderie that develops, and so for me, because I chose to not spend as much time in academia, I had some opportunities. I could be teaching full time on the university level right now if I wanted to. I decided not to go that path right now because I want to continue to do what we're doing, the work we're doing here with Mucus-free Life, as well as my music, and the pandemic stuff, all that kind of messed up our music plans. Unfortunately, we were moving forward pretty good with the Fire Music project, and all the stay-at-home stuff that just kind of took the wind out of our sails. But I shifted over to focus more on Mucus-free Life, and that's where the research and development team came up out of that. So yeah, let's say what's up to the folks here in the chat. What's going on? Alpha and Josh, Darcy, and let's see. Sherwin said, "What is the best diet for mucus-free?" The best diet for mucus-free is the Mucusless Diet Healing System. That is the quintessential mucus-free diet. And he said Marcus Rothkrantz inspired you. Yeah, that's cool. And let's see, I'm not going to answer too many questions on this one because like I said, I'll be taking this video down in a couple days, and so I'll do a Q&A soon. I'll do another Q&A probably sometime next week, and I'll announce it ahead of time so folks can know that it's on its way. Let me see here, but I'll field a couple quick ones. Let me get this going here. I'll field a couple quick. Or if anything, I would say we watching from the Philippines. That's great. Dicto podcast. Can you elaborate on strength gains after body's cleansed out? When it's fully clean, do you need as much macrocalories? Are you able to fast more readily? So, we talk about that on a number of different videos. Just real quick, I would say that it's different for each person, and the work that you've done in the past, if you're already the type of person that works out a lot, or you have that background, you will benefit from that. It's like you didn't waste your time with that. You just have to be open to allow your physiology to change, and you might not, and to be adaptable, and ultimately you start to change how you think about working out, how you approach it with your new body. And so if you are open to that, and I had to do that because I was a varsity athlete, football player, played football for 6 years, and the kind of working out that we did, that was not the kind of working out that my body needed to do on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. That wasn't the route to go. So I had to totally reprogram my mind and approach working out in a whole different way than my original training. And so for me, that's the inner game and the mental approach and the way to think about working out is more significant than kind of focused on the nuts and bolts and that, and with calories. We're not really a calorie theory group here. We don't really believe in calorie theories and that kind of stuff. And so we're different. We're quite different in the way that we approach things. But but that might be a good question to elaborate on a little further in a future video, future Q&A. And Marcus says, thanks for the opportunity. You are quite welcome. Levi says, why is it that high fruit juice diet gives me a white tongue? Well, it's your perpetual detox mode, and it takes time, and that's why, and I think I was telling you the other day, you might even, if you were to take a step back and eat some cooked mucus-free vegetables and kind of plateau out at that level for a while, you might get some fatigue if you've been raw for a long time, and then you go back and you incorporate a few cooked items. You might just be ready, be ready to chill. When you get up in the morning, you should be fine. But if you eat your salad and some cooked stuff in the evening, you're probably not going to want to do anything after that. You're just going to be chilling out. But what I've tended to notice is if I was fasting, and my tongue don't really do that anymore, but back when it did, when that would sort of bring the reason it does that is because anytime you fast, the whole fasting process, and this is missing, and people don't think about it like this, but the fasting process is it's squeezing out. As you start to fast, your body starts to kind of squeeze, and when you break the fast, it's a release. So there's the tension and release. That's why Arnold Ehret's methodology, I think, is so profound and important, and is missing when people start trying to be so aggressive with the long-term strategies as opposed to the short-term tension and release. Tension and release. Doing that over a longer period of time, which results in less likely to relapse and fall off the wagon like Mr. Avocado yesterday that we talked about. And it's just permanent change. It's just more logical. It just makes sense. But so when you do the real long fast, your body it's that tension. It's squeezing out. And the breaking of the fast, when doing it properly, creates that release. And what I've seen a number of times is, the tongue will get real coated. That's why Ehret literally says, don't try to fast until the tongue is clear, because that's probably not going to happen. That's not possible in the early years. Like, this is a long process to really get the lymphatic system moving, get everything in line. So when you do have a meal, like I was talking about yesterday, some kind of cooked vegetables, that kind of thing, it will that release, it would actually allow your body to release. Because right now it's probably not releasing a lot. If you're kind of high raw, and that plateau point of release hasn't been there. But I've just noticed when you release like that, and especially if you eat mucus-free, like cooked mucus-free items that are incorporated into a salad, that can, right after you eat it, you check your tongue and the white is gone, or the mucus is gone. And it's not that it just went away. It's just your elimination slowed down for a second, and it's processing a little differently, and so that elimination is starting to happen. But I would think about that. Think in terms of tension and release. Tension and release. Your body does it naturally. When you do fast, you'll notice that there are cycles. Like every several days, usually 3 to 4 days, or the longer you fast, it might be more, 5 days or so. But every several days, you'll notice that it might start to feel a little uncomfortable because the elimination starts getting a little more intense. But you go through that and feel good again. And that's why we say after the first couple days of a fast, and once you get into it, then it generally is easier to keep going longer. But that tension and release concept, I think, is, if people thought like that, then they wouldn't feel like they have to do those really long fasts as much. And but yeah, so I guess I wasn't. Some of these are good things to talk about, and this isn't even the Q&A. But let's see. Josh asks, how do you make beats? I find a lot of stuff online that are free beats, or I have a Roland FA08 workstation, so I make things there, and so I'll either find stuff or make things on the workstation, that kind of stuff. But I don't produce a whole lot of beats like a lot of beat producers that's what they do. I like to find things that I can use, or take existing things and create my own. I can make enough changes to transform it if I sample something and create something like that. But yeah. Let's see. Sham says, why do people say mucoid plaque is a myth? Because I don't know, man. It's weird to me that something that is so easy to get into, but that shows you how disconnected the medical world and the academic medical world is from the whole concept of detoxification. I mean, they instilled that from the beginning to just not even consider it. Because as soon as somebody that does have medical credentials starts to think like that and talk like that or go out, they immediately get like totally ostracized, and they'll have, hit pieces written on them, especially if they have any kind of influence or they're famous or anything. They'll folks come out the woodwork to bash him. I mean, we see what happened to the folks that weren't even naturopathic medical people, but that came out against the COVID-19 saying, hold on, this doesn't make sense. Like, this isn't how viruses work. You know, you had, they got hit hard by the media and that kind of thing. And so yeah, it's weird. It's definitely a weird one. And Kip Lifestyle, thank you, Spira. Well, thank you for plugging in. What's going on, Reese? Fellow research and development team member, Reese Canode. And let's see. Simon says, I was only able to like your page. How to be friends, I don't know. If you look up Spira, Prospira, that's like the personal account, Facebook account for me on Facebook. So if you can find that, then send a friend request that way, and then I'll look you up, because I have a bunch of requests. I don't always stay on top of that, and I'm getting close to my max out point. So I've kind of stopped. I don't accept a whole lot of new friends on that account, because once you get to 5,000, you can't accept any more, and I like to be able to accept the people that I want. So I like to kind of keep a buffer there. But yeah, just find that account, just PRO. Then Spira, Prospira, and that's the private. I mean, if you want to call it private, there's nothing private on Facebook, but that's the personal account. Let's see. John says, how do you recommend handling ebbs and flows of energy when your body is cleansing itself in the Mucusless diet? For me, my personal strategy has been to study, and that was always, kind of would keep me occupied. So even when I didn't have the energy to, get up and walk around and run around and do a lot of stuff, there has been, especially those early years, there's be times where I don't feel like going out and doing anything, but the one thing that I was constantly doing was educating myself and studying all kinds of topics. And so I would constantly be going to the library and getting books and DVDs and a lot of documentaries. And even back then, I was still getting VHSs. That was like the transition from VHS to DVD back when I got into the diet. But yeah, I was just really into studying, and that kept me going. That kept me kind of on the lows when things weren't feeling good, and stuff was kind of not really great, just in terms of really going through some elimination. I just kept studying, as I did have that energy. I had the mental energy to just stay focused in on whatever it was I was studying at the time, and really absorbing that stuff, and always studying it critically, and not just kind of passively watching it, but engaging with the content and the information, and thinking about larger contexts. If it's a historic if I'm watching a historic documentary, I'm sort of thinking through what's going on, even around the documentary, and the biases that might be involved with some of the speakers in the documentary, and that kind of stuff. And I unfortunately saw the degeneration of a lot of documentary filmmaking from the early 2000s. There was some really good documentaries, but then the History Channel stuff, it started getting really bad. And I don't know what, and I think I've even since seen a documentary about the History Channel, or maybe it was a YouTube, like somebody made some kind of little documentary where they talked about that, how bad like other people noticed that. You were like History Channel and the History, they used to make some really great documentaries, and then all of a sudden it got really bad, and kind of, you know, all that it was like those alien shows and all that stuff. It was like it just got lame. But they used to have some really good stuff back in the day. But that kind of stuff, you know, I would. That's one of the ways that I would deal with it. Music, playing music. Sometimes when I was going through a real bad elimination, I guess that was 8 years ago now. I had a little keyboard, and I'd be kind of laying there or sitting, and I'd be playing music to myself and just exploring and almost leaving my body, because when I'm playing music, it's kind of a, you know, there's an out of body kind of experience or kind of travel kind of thing, but you basically, it takes you out of that experience of whatever your physical might be going through that's not comfortable. You play music, you know, that kind of takes you out of that. So, you know, if you're not a musician, that might not help, but even, you know, listening to certain music, you know, you just have to find what works for you in those times. But definitely, you know, my faith, if I should use that word, or belief or whatever, you know, that never wavered. I'd already made the decision. This is the path that I'm going down. So whatever happens, it is what it is. I'm going down this path, and we're gonna experience this. And so I didn't really waver as far as that goes. But yeah, Simon says how to refrain the desperate need for speeding detox. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. How to refrain from the desperate need for, unless you're talking about when people want to, where they feel like they have to try to go too fast or faster than they need to go. I mean, that's, I guess, watch my videos talking about don't do it. I mean, that's kind of a tough one, but you want to think through, if I'm correct in the way that I've read that, you just want to really think through, you know, just logically think through the elimination, think through why, and continue to study, you know, Mucusless Diet and rational fasting, and really meditate on why Ehret recommends the type of things that he recommends, the transition, the 1 to 2 day fast, the short-term fasting, the short-term juice fasting. He's not even recommending water fasting or dry fasting. It's very safe. You know, it's safe, incremental, that when done long enough can lead to permanent change. You know, the differences is when there are some pretty serious issues, then, you know, case-by-case basis. There are instances where I will tell people, like, okay, right now, you need to really dig in and do some serious fasting or some serious transitioning or go a little bit faster. But those are usually cases where people are really suffering from some serious stuff. But for most people that aren't really going through some terrible, terrible things, the best approach is going to be that straight and narrow, practice the transition, have short-term fasting periods, get into the colon irrigation, just sort of stay the course right down the middle. And that will be the best. Like I said, don't forget to like and share. That's a nice little lemon. So I thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, of course, you know me, I could drone on and on. We could keep on talking. Like I said, I don't want to put too much, because some of these maybe I'll have to take the question and answer section. Some of those things could help somebody, and I didn't plan on keeping this video up too long. Because once we find some people to join the team, then I'll probably take this video down, but we'll see. We'll see. But I do appreciate you guys being on here. It's a nice attendance for just kind of jumping on here on a Sunday. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that tuned in yesterday and the day before. They had 2 live streams. This will be the 3rd live stream this weekend. And so I'm going to be doing more of these. And when possible, I'm going to schedule them ahead of time so you know that they're coming in advance. So if you definitely want to be a part of the live stream, you can be. And I will be doing more of the Q&As coming up. And and just keep on putting out more information, more content, and just keep the vibration high, keep moving forward, keep developing the community, because we got some great things in store. We had some plans and some concepts and things that we want to take to the next level. 2021 is going to be a great year. I know that 2020 for a lot of people has been insane, but my attitude has just been, you just keep on moving, you do the best you can with what you have, and you're always working toward freedom. And so I'm always an advocate for people, for entrepreneurship, or people kind of figuring out ways to control, add value to the world and control your own world, in that you always got to be adding value in some capacity. But it's nice to be able to do that and then be running your own show, where not worrying about getting fired or those kind of responsibilities. And so, and that's a topic, entrepreneurship. There's a number of things that I'd like to talk about this outside of the standard Mucusless diet discussions, because I would like to do a couple research skills videos and go over some advanced research and writing skills. Because I love that stuff. I love researching, I love writing, and I would like to show other people some stuff that people don't necessarily talk about, because I've developed research approaches and methods that I don't see other people really talking about. To me, everybody should already know them because they're so logical. But then when I show them to people, they're like, "Whoa, I never thought of it." They hadn't thought of it. And so I sometimes forget that I've been in school for, I was in school for how many years is that? It's almost 30 years. Since I, being in preschool and kindergarten and stuff, and then just staying in it all through graduate school and that kind of stuff. So I developed some pretty good research and writing approaches. And hey, what's going on, Si? And I've been meaning to reach out to you. I'm gonna be sending you a message here soon, as I appreciate the messages you sent me, and I had a question for you, so I'm gonna be hitting you up soon. So anyway, I thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We're going to be coming out with some great content this week. And getting ready for this season change. It's starting to get chilly, so it's still warm. I can still sunbathe in the daytime, but now at night it's getting down. It was in the 40s last night, and probably in the 40s tonight, 40 degrees Fahrenheit over here in the States. So, and that's getting down there into the chilly. Like I used to camp in Boy Scouts growing up. I would camp in, probably the coldest I maybe camped in was even like 10 degrees, 10, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm not doing that anymore. That's not really something that I need to prove to anybody. I could do it if I had to, but bundling up and that kind of stuff. But I don't really like to be out there camping and being out when it's that cold. But I can still deal with the 40s. But once it starts getting down into that 30s, and it's like, all right, I think I'm gonna be in a house type of situation. But anyway, thank you so much, and until next time, peace, love, and breath.